Hello, hello. What's up, guys? It's me, your girl Beanie. Happy New Year. I'm in my car. I'm not going anywhere. I just had to get out of my house. Yeah, we'll talk about it in a minute. So first and foremost, Happy New Year. Hope you guys had a great New Year. I don't want to say I did not, but I really didn't. But it's only a day, right? Like, it's only a day on the calendar. Like, today can be your new year. Tomorrow can be your new year. And I think we talked about that last year when I talked about, like, I don't believe in resolutions for New Year's. I think resolutions are an any day, anytime thing. But I just had a shit day yesterday, and it kind of carried over into how I'm feeling today, and that's why I had to get out of the house. But first, I wanted to say hello to all my new subscribers, and I don't have a mic on, so I'm going to talk really loud, and it might be shit video, and I don't know. Hello to my new subscribers. My name is Beanie. I'm a middle-aged grandma. And this is a channel where I talk about my dentures. Not all the time, because how much can you talk about dentures? You can't. Like really, like, what else am I going to say? But I do want to talk to you guys about the staining in between my little teeth. Because I've been noticing that. Well, we're not going to talk about it today. So I have an ADD brain, and that means that I skip around sometimes in my stories, and I do curse occasionally, and I try to curb it, but sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And if that's something that would bother you, I'm warning you, so you don't have to watch my video. It's also hot. It's hot in the South right now. Like, it's warm, and it's like the muggy kind of warm. So my naturally curly hair is, can you guys see what's happening? You can see yeah, I'm not brushing my hair. Like, I mean, I brushed it, but listen, I'm not worrying about all that. It's YouTube, and I don't even get paid from YouTube, so who cares? Let's see. So I went to the doctor this past week, and she says she's not approving me to go to work yet. Had some labs come back that were not good, that were not an issue 2 weeks ago, that are now an issue, and then most likely it's because of certain medicines that I'm on. I also passed out in the doctor's office that day, so that was fun. The good news was, at least I was in a chair when it happened. I felt it coming, and I was, protected. Like, the nurse that was there had me braced in, because listen, let this big girl fall to the floor. Nobody wants to pick this shit up. I can't even pick myself up off the Barca-Lounger half the time. So, but yeah, I'm okay from that. I still have one other test that we're waiting to come back. I don't know. It didn't come back by Friday. I don't know why. Anyhow, so we're going to revisit in 2 weeks if she'll let me go back. She said she may only let me go back part-time. I'm still waiting for approval from the insurance about if they're going to approve me for the portable condenser. Right now I still have the bullet tank, and that's what's in the trunk. So what happened yesterday was, the bills have now started really coming in for my COVID treatment. And, that's been something that has preoccupied me this entire time. That's why I didn't go to the doctor when I first got sick. Like, not to the doctor, but to the emergency room. Because I'm like, fuck that. I'm not paying for the emergency room. Like, I can't. Like, I'm by myself, right? I have a house that's literally sinking. That's going to require just $20,000 just to get it jacked up. $14,000 just to get it, okay. And then an additional $6,000 to brace up other areas. It doesn't matter. And that's why I delayed even getting the echocardiogram after the COVID, because I'm like, oh, that's another $1,500. So I had been preoccupied all along about what it's going to cost me. I kept asking about like when could I get out of the hospital? It wasn't that I felt better. It's just that every day that I was in the hospital, it was costing me money. It's costing me my savings. It's costing me repairs on my home. And it's awfully shitty that we have to, I might get a little misty. So if I start crying, don't think I'm a baby. It's just that this is what set me off yesterday. Um, it's really shitty that we have to decide, you know, get help for ourselves or what's it going to cost. And not maybe everybody lives like that or feels that way. And they're just like, listen, we'll do whatever we have to do. But when you're on your own and it's only you supplying the money, I have to think about those things. Like, I don't even think about those things. I worry about those things. Like, I worry about money to be able to take care of my everyday needs all the time. I'm always trying to think ahead, like plan for the worst. Plan for the worst, so you can take care of yourself and you don't have to, worry even worse when something happens. And this is one of those somethings like that happened. And so a bill came in yesterday and it said that it was not being covered at all because it was not a medical necessity. And it turns out it was one of my follow-up x-rays on my lungs. And I said to the girl for my insurance, I said, well, I'm recovering from COVID, so how is an x-ray to check on my lungs not a necessity? And she goes, oh, well, they just put it in as preventative, not medically necessary, so just call the billing department from the hospital and have them fix it and put it back through. And she goes, but wait, you said you had COVID. And I said, yes. And she said, well, let me look at something. So she pulls up what she called a priority flag for my employer's insurance coverage. And she's just reading it out loud. And of course, I'm listening intently. And basically what it said was from April of 2021. See, this is where I'm probably going to get upset. So bear with me, okay? From April 2021 to October 18th, 2021, my employer was fully covering any medical expenses for those that were being treated for COVID. And she, when she was reading it, she didn't say the end date. She just started with April 2021, right? So mind you, I already have like thousands of dollars, like sitting, waiting to be paid out, like people that want to get paid for my medical treatment. And that's not even everything. Like my full hospital bills have not started coming in yet. Because obviously it's a hospital and they're busy, and I'm expecting probably in the next 2 months, all of those to be coming through. I'm just talking about like the middle of the road bills, right? Not even talking about like my prescriptions. I can't even tell you how much I spend a month in prescriptions now. After the doctor visit I just had, I had to go there and spend $100. My inhalers alone, because insurance doesn't cover shit for asthma people. And AstraZeneca, those fuckers, they used to have a coupon program where if you had insurance and needed like for Symbicort, so that's what one of the inhalers I use. So AstraZeneca used to have this coupon up until like 2020 or 2020, where if you had insurance, get your inhaler with the insurance, but they would take care of the rest. And when COVID popped off, because AstraZeneca was working on COVID shit, they took away that program. So now they have this little bullshit financial assistance program, which someone like me wouldn't qualify for. You have to be basically like a Medicare, Medicaid person to qualify for AstraZeneca's discount program. So nonetheless, again, if you are what I guess people would look at me and say, you're not poverty level, but you're, it's not middle America. What is it called, guys? Is it middle America? Average American? Like, you're not on, okay, on paper, you're not poor. That's what I'm trying to say. So on paper, I'm not poor. But I'm telling you, I'm not what they, what the paper would say. Like, I rob from Peter to pay Paul. I drive a car that's 14 years old, so I don't have a car payment. My couch, I just realized my couch is 40 years old. Did you know that? I bought this couch with the intentions of reupholstering it myself and never did. And I want to get it reupholstered. I literally, right before I got sick, had made an appointment to get it reupholstered because I said, okay, get a new recliner or get the couch reupholstered. I'm like, get the couch reupholstered. And then I got sick. So I can't get the couch reupholstered. That's what I'm saying. Like, I live frugally so I can have some money in my savings account. So I can have, like, I sacrifice. I guess that's the right word. I sacrifice. I do literally sacrifice. I don't have nice clothes. I don't wear nice clothes. I shop thrift stores. I will, refinish furniture and flip it to try to make a few dollars, or, what I'm saying? Like, so, like, I'm not complaining just for the sake of complaining. I'm upset because I struggle. So anyways, I got off. See, I tangented. That's your girl Beanie. I tangented. So the girl reads off from April 2021. Anyone with medical issues stemming for the treatment of COVID will be covered at 100%. I heard that. My heart, you guys, my heart went like out of my chest. I felt in that instant moment such a breath of relief. Like, oh my God. I have been so worried the last 6 weeks that I've been sick. Like, what am I going to do when the bills start coming in? And then she said, up until October 18th, 2021. And in that heartbeat, I went from being high as you could be to devastated. And I said, I'm sorry. And she said, oh, your employer's addendum, basically, for this COVID coverage ended October 18th, 2021. I got sick November 8th. But my COVID test, my positive test, is November 17th. So essentially, I got sick 29 days too late to qualify for my employer's addendum. And when I heard that, my heart dropped. Like, I was already upset because they're not covering this other thing. And then she's talking about the other bills that are already sitting on there. Like, oh, this is pending and that's pending. And you guys know I talk very openly that I'm an anxious personality. And immediately I started having a panic attack. And I felt sucker punched. And I just said, you know what? This is the story of my fucking life. And why is it that even when I practice optimism and I practice gratitude, I still feel like I'm getting sucker punched? So I texted my manager and I said, hey, did you know? Because we work for a national company. I said, did you know that we had this addendum that if you got this during this period of time, they were covering it? He said, no, I never heard of that. They never told us that. So it wasn't something that they sent around in a company-wide memo. And if they did, he didn't know about it. I didn't know about it. And I just felt sick. And I just said, you know what? Of course, you got COVID 1 month too late. And I just started crying and crying and crying, and I felt sorry for myself and just said, see, you just can't get your head above water. And I know that there's other people who would love to be in my position. And you don't have to tell me and say, well, Beanie, it'll work out. And Beanie, at least you're alive. I know that. I know that. But in the moment, it still fucking sucks. Like, why? Why can't I be just given a reprieve? And think about it. Like, if she would have never said anything to me, I still would have the bill, right? Like, I still have all these bills. I have no choice, right? But I would be none the wiser. And so that part of knowing that my employer, like, why didn't they do it until January 31st? I mean, not January, December 31st. I would be glad to pay any bills from today on out if they would have covered. Like, why? Why did you pick this small window from April to October? What was it about from April to October? Why not until December 31st? You're a big fucking company. You just raised our insurance. Why not do that? I don't know. So that was my meltdown. That was my New Year's Eve. I felt like, wow, what a way to bring in 2022, right? And then I cried and cried and cried and said, well, you'll never have your couch reupholstered. You'll never get a new recliner. What are you going to do if your 14-year-old car finally gives out? Because that would be all the hospital money that I have to pay is I could have bought a fucking really nice used car with. And so that's where I spent many hours yesterday. I then had to pull myself together. And I guess that's the point of me sharing this story. Is for any of those watching, when you have moments like that, and we all do at some way, shape, or form, you may not physically express it with tears or YouTube videos. You may hold it internally. It all affects us. Like, I have no doubt. When I was in the hospital, you guys, all I kept thinking was $11,000, because the average cost of a hospital stay per night is $11,000. And I'm just thinking every night I'm here, $11,000. I was praying my body to try to be healthy. I just kept saying, fight body, fight body, strong. Like, I kept repeating this mantra in my head. And the whole reason was because I needed to get out of the hospital because I didn't want to pay any more than I needed to. That was also the reason I didn't go to the hospital when I should have. I should have gone much earlier in the COVID sickness, was because I knew I had to check in through the emergency room, and that the emergency room visit alone was going to be at least $1,500 just to walk through those doors, get checked in. Whether they kept me or not, it didn't matter, right? And it's so bullshit that, the average American or the average person has to worry about that. Like I can't have medical care because the ramifications of the medical care are the expenses. And the expenses is fuck you, Obama, fuck you and your Obamacare, because that was all bullshit. Okay? All that was just to build private sector, private companies, pad their pockets. Big pharma, fuck you. I worked for a pharmaceutical company, 4 years ago, and our federal government is garbage. With the shit that they let these big companies get away with, and how the everyday American is the one who's paying the price. And one day I'll tell you about that. I'll tell you about this company I work for, this scam, and what the federal government allowed them to do even after they broke the law. But anyhow, and they targeted senior citizens, and they still do. I see their commercials. So, but that's a different story. So I had to pull myself together, and that's what happens. And that was, again, back to what I was saying. When you have anxiety or depression, or not, or if you're just having an anxious moment, a panic moment, I feel like having the moment, have it. Like, don't repress it, but then you have to like reel yourself in. And for me, sometimes I can do it quickly, and then sometimes I can't. Like, I'm a person of action because I have no choice. I only have myself to lean on, right? So if I don't pull my shit together, who's going to do it for me? Nobody. I just didn't want it to be an all weekend thing, right? That I just want to see what time it is. Okay. I didn't want it to be an all weekend thing where I just felt sorry for myself all weekend. So I had to distract myself, and I started just like walking around my house. I was pacing a lot. I was tempted to eat, but I wasn't hungry. Like, I'm not hungry since the COVID. So, but it was there, and that showed me that that was a coping trigger for me. Like, immediately, like there was something in my brain that said, go do that, bitch. Like, go eat. The great thing is because I can't smell or taste, I didn't want it. So again, I did my old faithful. I started pulling up YouTube videos, and I watched some comedy so I could start laughing. And then I just started watching some, bodybuilding channels. I found this guy, Simon Miller. Oh, I like him. Not only is he pretty, but he is so funny. And he really, he's a professional wrestler, I guess. He's got a bodybuilding channel. Anyways, I spent like an hour watching his channel, and then I watched a couple of other bodybuilding channels, and then I watched a couple yoga channels. I didn't do any of this stuff. I just watched. Really, like, my physical activity is limited, but I am increasing it slowly. I'm just doing things that are slowly building my stamina. But in the interim, I'm just trying to feed my brain with positive images, positive reinforcement. But I took a slip yesterday and just felt sorry for myself and felt like, this is your life. You have lived basically your whole life with it being like this. So why are you surprised, dum-dum? Like, why are you surprised? Why are you surprised? I just think if the girl never told me about the addendum, then it would still hurt me. But this really hurt me, knowing like the could have. I've been so preoccupied with the worry about how I was going to take care of the finances of the medical stuff that I'm sure it has affected my healing and my recovery. Without a doubt. When I check, I have my pulse ox, it's with me. When I check my heart rate, like 2 weeks ago when the edema was really, really bad, I had to check my heart rate a lot. And the more I was focusing on the edema, the more I was worrying. You saw it, you guys. You saw my heart rate stayed high, stayed in the hundreds, as long as I was worrying. Then my little granddaughter came to visit, and she was making me laugh. And when you watch my pulse ox, my heart rate was going down. So everything we think in this head of ours affects us. It affects our lives. It's hard to stay on top of it and manage it 24/7. That in itself is a job, but it has to be done. And I hope that if you find yourself in situations like I had yesterday, we have these what is this guy doing? This fucking truck has driven around like 16 fucking times. Maybe they're just waiting for the store to open. I'm not going in the store, sir. Like, I'm the only car in 3 parking lots. But he just keeps driving the fuck around. What are you waiting for? The store's not opening for like 20 minutes. I don't know. If you find yourself in a situation where things aren't going to plan, my hope for you, here he goes again. He just drove around. Now he's going back to the back. People rub me. Like when you see stuff like that, like he has driven around, he literally parked in front of the doors of the building where you can't park. And he's looking around and thinking, like, what if he's a shooter, right? Like, what if his wife or somebody's in there and he's waiting to, like, maybe she was stalking overnight and now he's waiting to pop a cap in her ass. Like, you never know those things. That's my neurotic New York, brain. But anyhow, If you find yourself falling down the rabbit hole, just know you're not alone. And just know that we have to pull ourselves out. You have to pull yourself out. Like, I have no choice. I have to pull myself out. What am I going to do? I woke up this morning. I felt like my house was swallowing me up. So I just said, get in the car, Beanie, and drive. You know, I don't plan on being out long because I just needed to get out of the scenery of my home. And now that people are starting to come here, I'm going to head back home. But there's another one pulling right up into the... That is not a parking zone. What the fuck is wrong with people? I want to see this. Look at this. Wait, wrong way. Right? No, I got it. Can you see it? No, I'm not doing it right. I can't see. I don't know, but I know that is not a parking spot. The fuck? People are so lazy. I swear to God. You know, it's not until you get sick and you feel like, what if this is all taken away? Like, you take all that stuff for granted. Like, get out of your car and walk to the door if you want to know what the hours are. Yoke. My goal for today is I'm going to get back home. I'm still fasting. I got to fast for like another 3 hours, so I won't eat any or drink anything. But I'm either going to do Richard Simmons. Don't say nothing, okay? I'm going to do Richard Simmons. Or it might be a little too much. I think Richard Simmons might be a little too much for me. I know. Listen, if you're healthy and in good shape, you're like, Richard Simmons is too much for you. You got to remember, my lungs is shit. So, you know, he does a lot of stuff to get your cardio pumping. It might be a little too much. Or I might do some DDP yoga. And when I say some, you guys, it's probably 10 or 15 minutes. That's it. If I make it that far. I may only get as far as watching the video. But while I watch the video, I'm going to visualize that I'm doing it. And that is actually proven. There's a study. I'll talk about it another time. But Olympic athletes who they had visualizing them doing whatever their Olympic specialty was. And they did their brain patterns and stuff. And all of the muscles in their body fired the same way. So my intention today is to just be a little bit more positive. I can't do anything, right? Like, so I felt sorry for myself yesterday, but I can't do anything. Like, do you think the company is going to add an extra 30 days on to their addendum because of Beanie? No, I can't do nothing, right? So my COVID shit's not going to get paid for except by me. And it's probably going to take me 20 years to fucking pay all that off. And I still have to get my health right? Like, so what am I going to do? I got to pull myself up by the bootstraps. That's the goal for today, is just to try to make it through today and be positive. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got. I don't know. Feel free to share down below if you have any goals in mind for the upcoming year. Let's not call them resolutions, okay? Fuck resolutions. Do you have any goals for the upcoming year? And do you have any worries that you're ignoring, because it's easier to ignore them than to feel the pain that they bring on? And if so, what can we do to work through them? Right? Like, don't carry it. Don't carry the shit, because life is too short, guys. It's too short. This grandma's telling you, life is too short. Here comes another chuckle butt. Oh, they're old people. I don't call old people chuckle butts. I love old people. You guys know what my neighbors did? So my neighbors across the street, and then I'm going to go. My neighbors across the street, I don't think I've ever showed you guys a picture of their house, is literally red, white, and blue. The entire house. Intentionally. Like, it's America. And they're in their 80s, and they wear matching shirts every day. She's the boss. He's the follower. Because you could tell, like, she tells him, you get outside and you help me pull weeds. They don't mess around. They go out and they do yard work, and she is quick as a whip. She knows everybody's business in our street. That's why I keep to myself. But they showed up the day before New Year's Eve, and they brought me pulled pork and these homemade rolls. I don't call them sweet rolls because they're not, but they're homemade hamburger rolls and barbecue sauce from this place in a neighboring town. They get catered once a year. And it was so sweet. I didn't have the heart to tell them that, I'm not eating the pulled pork or the bread. But I put it in the freezer for my daughter. But they are the sweetest things ever, and I just love them. The first thing I said, how did you guys get across the street? Because listen, they're frail, you guys. She is like 80 pounds soaking wet. He's also very thin, but he's very tall. And I noticed he had a little Band-Aid, so he got either tests done or he got hurt. But they ain't quick enough to. I live on literally on a main street. They ain't quick enough to get across the street. And it wasn't like they came like at night when there's nobody driving. So I said, how did you guys get across the street? And they're like, oh, we were okay. I said, listen, let me walk you back over. They're like, no, you're on oxygen. And I said, I'll take the rolling oxygen. I didn't want them to get hit by a car, but I thought that was so sweet. And I was just so grateful that I have them as neighbors, because I do really consider them my family, my extended family. They have been so good to me since I moved down here, and I really love them a lot. So I hope you have people like that in your life too. A small gesture can brighten your day. See, so I just thought about that and it made me feel good. So it brought me out of my little funky mood. But let me go, because people are starting to come and I want to get home before there's too much, Saturday traffic. I hope all is well. I think you'll be seeing more of me, at least, sporadic. I do want to talk to you guys about the staining in between my dentures, because I don't understand what's happening with that. I brush them, I soak them, and it's not that bad today. I'm looking, but you could, one day I'm going to have to take them off and get in the thing and you can see them. But, I love each and every one of you guys. I appreciate that you come in and you spend a few minutes watching my videos. And I hope, you can get something out of, I don't want to say my struggles, but I hope you can get something out of my life experiences that motivates you in any way, shape, or form to, improve the quality of your life. Even if it's like, man, I just don't want to be like that girl. That's okay. That's okay. I just want to help people if I can. So I am going to run. Yeah, I got a little misty a minute ago. I'm going to run. So, all right, guys, I'll talk to you soon.